So that brings us to, obviously, the KS components. Once again, with the metal grill.
So that was KSC.
Yep.
This would be KSS.
S for system. Same features we talked about before. You've got, multi-hole, mounting, mechanism for the front. You've got the Santoprene surround. You've got the polypropylene cone. Shallow motor structure. This one does not have any crossover on the back, though. That's why you have the outboard crossover, and I think I've got one right here.
There, see?
So this is going to be the outboard crossover for the KSS. So you've got an
It's upside
input.
down. Yeah, it's upside down.
Is it? Well, it wasn't to me as I look. So you've got your input wires, which you've got solid gray for positive, gray with black stripe for negative. Then you've got the tweeter and the mid-range outputs. Ken, have you ever wired a tweeter to a mid-range and a mid-range to a tweeter output?
Actually, I haven't, because of all the implementations that we've done to prevent that from happening. So, whether it just be swapping the genders on positive and negative, but they're actually usually different sizes or shapes. So maybe the tweeter would use a bullet connector and spade terminals for the woofer.
Which is exactly what we did.
Yeah, so there you go.
So if you look at these speakers,
Those are two different sizes, I believe, huh?
Yep, spade terminals, which you've got a .110, and that's .110 inches, or it's about a little bit over a tenth of an inch. .187 is the next size up. Then the largest ones that you generally use in audio are .250,
right,
or a quarter of an inch.
If you want to buy those on Amazon in bulk and crimp them to your own speaker wire, run them from your amplifier, your car, those would be the sizes.
And on this one, even for the tweeter, to make it even more apparent that which is which, because if you hook the tweeter up to the mid output, you're going to blow your tweeters pretty quickly.
Right.
Like I say, I have learned that from experience.
They are labeled too. They have a little white label just in case.
But this is what's kind of nice on the tweeter, is the fact that it's different length wires. So, and then when you have the tweeter,
they're staggered.
Yep, the wires are actually staggered. So, and they're different style of connectors.
That would be a red flag to you as well, as if you were plugging in wires that weren't staggered into wires that were staggered. You'd have this weird, extra inch of wire kind of.
And you'd be like, why would they design it to do that? And we did.
Because you're plugging it in the wrong space.
Exactly. So that's a big red flag.
Genius. I love it.
So, back when we had the barrier strips, which are all the, Phillips head terminals, that's when you could really screw things up. And, it happens. You get in a vehicle and it's dark, or, you're just not paying attention. You get a speaker connect. You got all the same colored wires coming in, was that the input wire? Was it a tweeter at mid-range? And it gets confusing. So this way, all the wires just plug right in. It takes all the guesswork out of it. You don't have to worry about.
Where should I mount that crossover, John? We're talking installation. Where's a viable place to install
Obviously,
that?
you want to mount it within range of these wires here. So you got about 3 foot, on each of the wires.
If you want to plug it directly in and not extend the wires, for sure.
And some of the crossovers have tabs on the outside. These actually have mounting screws on the inside. So you pop the cover off, and you have the mounting screws. And here you have these light bulbs, and that's actually the protection for the tweeter on the KS. Is actually
switch.
Nope, this is actually light bulb protection.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So if you've ever seen these crossovers and the light bulbs are flashing to the music, that means you're overdriving the heck out of your system. Turn it down. So that's there to help protect it. Of course, you've got your crossover for the tweeter. You've got your attenuation resistors and the switch, so you can turn the level of the tweeter up and down. Once again, 3 different settings. So that makes it really just kind of handy and really kind of nice. So crossovers, I generally try to mount, close to the speakers. If you're going to have the mid-range in the door and the tweeter up on the A-pillar, obviously want to try to keep that crossover.
Where are they mounted in your car, John?
Mine are mounted in the trunk. Why did I mount them in the trunk? For show more than anything.
Right, so it does happen.
And the QS speakers, those crossovers are big. They're, like the size of a brick.
Well, it's true. On the QSS, yeah, they're
sometimes you just don't have enough room to put the crossovers where you want to put them. But I generally, these are small enough, light enough that you can mount them inside the door panel. Mount them to the door panel itself. You can tuck them, back behind an armrest. And
a lot of times you put them in a kick panel and run the wires in through the boot. I've
Yep.
done that a few times
And that's
to make
the
sure
other
they're out of
thing.
the elements and that type of thing. You don't have to worry about them.
So pretty much anywhere you can put them. But the crossovers are very important. So